Well, thank you, Michael. I am just thrilled to have you here today and to introduce us. Thank you very much for having the time and putting the effort into all that research. So thank you very much. Hey, group, the pressure's on because they know what it's supposed to sound like. We weren't counting on you being here, but we are glad that you are. And I'm also glad that we have, we'll call it a sellout, right? Because I think the Jim Croce concert was a sellout, so we're happy that the room is full to hear that music today. I'm not going to talk as much between songs as I usually do, but I'm going to get it all out of the way up front. First of all the people that you see here are part of our community, and same goes with Becker's group, and you could be a part of this too. So this is my invitation to you. If you want to join us in the spring, just go to ce.harpercollege.edu and search Back Porch Revue, and don't spell it the way I spelled it on the flyer. My apologies for the typos in the flyer. I was trying to do too much yesterday. But if you just search Back Porch, we'll come up, and you can join. So that's my invitation to you to do that. All right, let's think about Jim Croce for a minute. He was born in 1943, and he died in 1973, which made him 30. And this whole body of work that we'll play tonight and that we won't play tonight, the rest of it, which it's just amazing to think that most of the songs that we all know were fit into a 2-year period, 1972 and 1973. He really hit the public's attention in 1972. When You Don't Mess Around with Jim, that album came out, and that was when he could get out of the Philadelphia nightclubs and begin to tour nationally and then internationally. But he did a lot of colleges in 1973, and Harper College being one of them that he did. Incidentally, his producers were Terry Cashman and Tommy West, and I don't think I'm any relation to Terry Cashman, but they also had a group called Cashman and West that sort of played in the same genre of folk music that Croce was in. So in 1973, of course, you could hear Jim Croce on the radio, and mostly that would be after the Harper College concert, but you would hear his songs, including Bad Leroy Brown in the summer of '73. But other things were related to this kind of music. So Don McLean had a hit in 1971 called American Pie, which I'm sure some of you know. Harry Chapin had Taxi in 1971, and he also had Cats in the Cradle in 1974. Gordon Lightfoot, he topped various charts between 1970, when he released If You Could Read My Mind, in 1976, when he did the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. But really only a few years after Jim Croce, those artists who were really grounded in the American folk tradition, they really weren't on the radio anymore. And so I found actually that among today's young people, except for the ones that might be here today, many of them don't know Jim Croce. And even if they've heard a song or two, they don't really necessarily know his name. And so hopefully we'll do a little bit to spread that beyond there, because we really want to remember that he was here and had that great body of work. But he really was a part of the last, what I consider anyway, the last wave of folk musicians who were on the Billboard charts and who were on AM radio. And you remember that back in 1973, AM radio was really the important thing. FM was really just emerging at that point. And in 1973, as Michael already told you his age, I'll tell you that I was 13 in 1973. And I went out and I bought the 45 of Bad Leroy Brown because I thought it was a great song. And so ever since then, I've sort of been tuned into Jim Croce. And Bad Leroy Brown actually was a #1 single for him in July of 1973. Here's the sad fact, though. Many of Jim's biggest hits were released after his death. So I Got a Name, Working at the Car Wash Blues, Massachusetts accent came out. I'll have to say I love you in a song, and then Even Time in a Bottle was re-released as a single after he died. Those were all hits after he had already passed, and I always think that that's a little bit sad. The music that we're going to play for you today is pretty different than what we usually play. Now, Jim Croce was a part of the folk music tradition, and usually we play stuff from pre-1940, and folk music can be, the structure of it can be pretty simple because it was functional music. People danced to it and things like that. What Jim Croce was playing wasn't really dance music, so this is a little different from what we do. But he was really grounded in the folk tradition. His wife, Ingrid, estimated that he could play about 2,000 songs, which is really kind of amazing when you think about it. I'm quite sure I don't play anywhere near 2,000 songs. But I also say that because his character songs tell us a lot about what the country was like in the 1960s and the early 1970s. And that history lesson is part of the folk music that we usually play, and it's also a history lesson in his music, just a little more contemporary than what we're used to doing in this group. His chord structures are much more complex than the folk tunes that we normally play. In fact, I think he really drew some real musical influence from things like jazz. It's a fact that Fats Waller and Bessie Smith were his father's favorites, and so it's not really that surprising to me that jazz was an influence that crept into his songwriting. And truthfully, he was really a great songwriter. And the more I dug into his music this semester, the more I realized that. He really could develop a character. When you listen to his songs, you feel like you know somebody or know some experience. And he really was a good guitar player. And finally, if you had the privilege of attending the concert, as our friends over here did, you knew that he was also a storyteller, which is also an important part of the folk tradition. And at Harper, he told a 7-minute story before he played the 2.5-minute version of Speedball Tucker. I'm not going to tell you the same stories tonight. You will have to look him up on YouTube to get the stories, and you really should do that anyway. By the way, the recording was made by a Harper College student at the time, Bill Hengels, I think his name. I pronounced his name right. Yeah, did I? Okay. Anyway, perfect. And at the time, I guess, he was a sound engineer with the college TV station. Now, we don't have a college TV station anymore, but he asked Jim Croce if he could record the concert, and he said yes. And so that document is there for us to listen to on YouTube today. But more importantly, it became a part of that album. So not the entire concert, but a good chunk of what you see on the Lost Time in a Bottle album came from the Harper College concert, so you should look for that one too. I think that's all I'm going to say. That's enough, right? I'll tell you a little bit about the songs, but usually I introduce people throughout the concert. Let me just quickly go through the group here, because if I forget to do that, I don't want to do it. Jeff. We have 2 fiddlers named Jeff, so that's a great thing for us. Then we have Jae on guitar and ukulele. I inadvertently left the next guy off the program, but he's my old friend, guitar player Marcel Fleury. Congratulate Marcel also, because for 15 years he taught wine appreciation at Harper, and he just retired. Next to him is Tom on the guitar. Tom's in his first semester with us, and we're really putting him through his paces on the first semester. Gil. You already know Roy. Roy's been holding us together for years now. And we have a special guest on drums tonight, so Jalen Little. And you're going to love the snare drum with this kind of music. It sounds it's perfect. Snare drum and brushes is the key to folk music percussionists. Next to Jalen is Jim on guitar and vocals. Then we have Stan on guitar and vocals. Stan's our resident storyteller. He's going to tell you a good story later. Also, a new member on guitar, Al. Now you're stuck with 3 Harper College employees. Tom, and our wonderful cellist, Bev, and I'm Scott. And Marcel is going to lead us off with Careful Man.
I don't gamble, I don't fight, I don't be hanging the bars at night. Yeah, I used to be a fighter, but now I'm a wiser man. I don't drink much, I don't smoke, I don't hardly mess around with no dough. Yeah, I used to be a problem, but now I'm a careful man. But if you want to use the free motion, you should have seen the man that I used to be. I was trouble in perpetual motion,
Trouble with a capital T.
Staying out late, having fun, and shot off every single shot in my gun. Yeah, I used to be a lover, but now I'm an older man.
But if you used to want to see a
Promotion, you should have seen the man that I used to be. I was trouble in perpetual motion, trouble with a capital T. Staying out late, having fun, and I shot every single shot in my gun. Yeah, I used to be a terror, but now I'm a tired man. Yeah, I used to be a terror, but now I'm a tired man.
Oh. Like, my mistake.
Thank you.
Jim Croce really wrote songs from all the periods of his life. And so the next one that we're going to play, actually there are 2 that come from his days in the Army. They're stories that he sort of accumulated. And the first one that we're going to play now is Operator. But the other one that he wrote when he was in the Army, well, based on an experience in the Army, was Leroy Brown. But this is Operator, which was one of his big hits. So Al's going to sing Operator for us. One, two, three, four.
Operator,
myself, and it just wasn't me. That's not the way it feels. No, no, no. That's not the way it feels. Operator, let's go get around. No one there, not really walking the talk. Thank you for your time. There's so much more than kind. It's the time. Isn't that the way they say go? Well, let's forget all that. Give me the number if you can't find it, so I can call just to tell them I'm fine and to show. And it just wasn't me. That's not the way it feels. You know, and he used to introduce that song, he'd say, I'm going to play a slow song. And then we sort of listened to it, and the tempo is not slow. So I started calling them gentle songs instead. The tempo is kind of fast, but you got to play it gently. All right. He also, in 1970, moved to New York for a while, and he wrote a couple of songs based on that that he did in this concert. Actually, lived in the Bronx. So this one is called. Well, the other one from the New York period is "New York's Not My Home." We'll get to that. But this one is called "Box Number 10," and this is really an autobiographical song. Stan's going to take us through this story. One, two, three, four.
Out of Southern Illinois, came a down on country boy. He's gonna make it in the city, playing guitar in the studio. Well, he hadn't been in the city long when he met a Broadway flower. You know, she took him for his money and she left him in a cheap hotel. Well, it's easy for you to see that country boy was me. Say, how am I ever gonna tell this to third of folks back home? Well, I was gonna be a great success, but things sure ended up a mess. But in the process, you know, I got messed up too. Hello, Mom and Dad, I had to call collect, 'cause I ain't got a cent to my name. Well, I'm sleeping in a hotel doorway, and tonight they say it's gonna rain. And if you'd only send me some money, I'd be out on my feet again. Send it in care of the Sunday edition, box number 10. Now back in Southern Illinois, they're still worried about their boy. But this boy's going home just as soon as he gets his fare. Because as soon as I got my bread, I got a pipe upside my head. You know, they left me in the alley, took my money and my guitar too. Hello, Mom and Dad, I had to call collect, 'cause I ain't got a cent to my name. And and I'm sleeping in a hotel doorway. And tonight they say it's gonna rain, and if you'd only send me some money, I'll be back on my feet again. Send it in care of the Sunday mission, box number 10.
This is one of those 1972 songs from, but it was on an album called Life and Times. Croce's wife wrote that this song was influenced by Fats Domino, the Coasters, and the Impressions, which is kind of interesting. But that's the range of his influences, so you'll know this one. This is called A Good Time Man Like Me Ain't Got No Business Singing the Blues.
I was gonna see a good time song, you know I'm nothing gonna bring me down. Till the day I fell in love with you, and baby that's the day I found you got me singing the blues, singing the blues. But a good time man like me ain't got no business singing the blues. Get out of here, you know I don't want to see your face. 'Cause I think you're doing good for your mind, just an absolute mistake. You get me singing the blues, singing the blues. But a good time man like me ain't got no business singing the blues. Never gonna fall in love again, you know I learned my lesson well. Play the game of love, lost my heart, you can believe me when I tell you that I'm singing the blues, singing the blues. But a good time man like me ain't got no business singing the blues. You got me singing the blues. But a good time man like me ain't got no business singing the blues.
All right, Bev's going to sing this one with me. This one was also written in 1972, and he wrote this one. It's a little bit autobiographical too. He wrote this when he decided he was going to give up that rock and roll lifestyle. Seriously. This is a gentle one. One, two, three.
Snowy nights and Christmas lights, I see window panes, make me wish that we could be together again. And the windy winter avenues just don't seem the same, and the Christmas carols sound like blues, but the choir is not to blame. But it doesn't have to be that way. What we had should never have ended. I'll be
stores, a corner Santa Claus, tinselled afternoons, and the sidewalk bands that play their songs slightly out of tune on the windy winter avenues. There walks a lonely man, and if I told you who he is, well, I think you'd understand. But it doesn't have to be that way. What we had should never have ended. I'll be dropping by today. We could easily get it together tonight. It's only right. But it doesn't have to be that way. What we had should never have ended. I'll be dropping by today. We could easily get it together tonight. It's only right.
I think everyone relates to this one at some point in their life. This is called Next Time, This Time. Jay's going to sing it with me. Marcel's going to play a solo. He's got everything. Jay, you're going to need that before Marcel. I'm not getting involved in that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you get to feeling all alone, when your good time friends have all gone up and gone, don't come knocking around my door, because I've heard your lies before. There ain't gonna be a next time, this time, a woman starting right now. I'm gonna forget your name and your pretty face, girl. Write you off as a bad mistake. You know that some women, they are lovers. Some just got no sense. But a woman like you ought to be ashamed of the things that you do to men. If you get to feeling all alone, when you'll find that you can make it on your own, don't come knocking around my door, because I've seen your ex before. There ain't gonna be a next time, this time, woman starting right now. I'm gonna forget your name and your pretty face, girl, and write you off as a bad mistake. You know that some women, they are lovers, and some just got no sense. But a woman like you ought to be ashamed of the things that you do to men. If you get to feeling you were wrong, don't go wasting your good money on the phone. I can't hang up as fast as you can call. That ain't all. There ain't gonna be a next time, this time, with woman starting right now. I'm gonna forget your name and your pretty face, girl. Write you off as a
Some women, they are liars. Some just got no sense. But a woman like you ought to be ashamed of the things that you do to men. Yeah, a woman like you ought to be ashamed of the things that you do to men.
So, you know, on that song, you have to sometimes switch genders, right? So women are thinking about the guys that did that. You know, Jim Croce actually drove trucks. And he really hung out with truckers. And so when he wrote Speedball Tucker, Stan tried to convince me it was Speedball Tucker, and I guess he did. Yeah. Anyway. This is another one of those songs where the character is really developed, and I think you understand the experience by the time the song's over. So, truly a folk tale. Jeff, first semester with us, we're going to make him sing.
Yep. Get right on that mic, right on top.
Speedball Tucker. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Speedball Tucker, terror of the highway, and all them other truckers will tell you that the boy is mad. He's driving in a rig like that. Speedball Tucker, terror of the highway, and all them other truckers will tell you that the boy is mad. He's driving in a rig like that. Speedball Tucker, terror of the highway, and all them other truckers will tell you that the boy is mad. If he's driving in a rig like that. Speedball Tucker, terror of the highway, and all them other truckers will tell you that the boy is mad. If he's driving in a rig like that.
Favorite lines. 95 is the route you're on. It's not the speed limit sign. Where I grew up in Massachusetts, 95 went right through there, so we used to drive on that one all the time. But I never did 95 on that. Not me. So he did a couple of cover songs when he was here. Actually, he did 3. We're only doing 2 of them for you, but this one was by some writers who had big hits in the 50s, Lieber and Stoller. And it's called I've Been Framed. why don't you sing it for us, Stan?
Okay, I'm ready. Ready?
1, 2, 3.
That's my cue. I was walking down the street just minding my own affair when 2 policemen approached me unaware. They said, "Is your name Stan?" I said, "Yes, indeed." They said, "Well, you're the boy that we've been looking for." And I said, "No, I ain't." "Oh, no, I don't think you mean me because I'm being framed." "No, no, 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 no. I ain't never done nothing wrong. But I always get the blame. I'm being framed." Oh. Well, they put me in a lineup and let those bright lights shine. There were 10 poor souls with me in that line. I knew I was a victim of someone's evil plan. When a woman walked in and pointed at me and she said, "That's the man," I said, "No, I ain't." "Oh, sir, I'm getting framed." "Oh, not again. I've never been doing nothing wrong. But I always get the blame. I'm getting framed. Again." Then a prosecuting attorney, he starts prosecuting on me. Believe it? He's jumping up and down and he's giving me that 3rd degree. I said, "Where were you on the evening of October the 29th? I told him I was down at the bar like always, and he said, "Judge, that man is a liar." And I said, "No, I ain't." "How dare you call me a liar?" And I ain't being lying, I'm being framed. "Oh, yes, I am. You know, I've never been doing nothing wrong. Oh, but I always get the blame. I'm being framed. Oh, yeah." I denied the charges of carrying that big old 44. I even denied the charges of robbing that liquor store. And I denied the charges of being drunk and disorderly, too. And the judge jumped up and he said, "Stand up, son." So I stood up and I staggered around a little bit and fell over. The gun went off and blew a hole in the bottom of my shoe. Oh, I said, "Judge, Judge, hey, Judge." Well, I'm being framed. Oh, I'm being framed. Oh, not again. I've never been doing nothing wrong, but I always get the blame. I'm being framed. Being framed, being framed, I'm being framed. I've never been doing nothing wrong and I always get the blame. I'm being framed.
Yes, Dan.
I didn't do it. I swear I didn't do it.
right, Jeff, the other Jeff, the original Jeff, in this group anyway, he's gonna tell us about another character out of the repertoire. This is the roller derby queen. 1, 2. Is that on? Jeff, is it on? Bill? Maybe? Gil. Gil's gonna help me out on this one. This is the other one we're doing from that New York period. This is called New York's Not My Home. One, two, three.
thoughts were cloudy, and I begun to doubt all the things that were me. In so many places, you know I run so many races, and looking into the empty faces of the people of the night, something is just not right, 'cause I know that I gotta get out of here. I'm so alone. Don't you know that I gotta get out of here, 'cause New York's not my home. All the streets are crowded, there's something strange about it. And I've lived here about a year, and I never once felt at home. I thought I made the big time, learned a lot of lessons rather quick, and now I'm telling you that they were not the nice kind. It's been so long that I have felt fine. That's the reason that I gotta get out of here. I'm so alone. That's the reason I gotta get out of here, 'cause New York's not my home. That's the reason that I gotta get out of here. I'm so alone. Don't you know that I gotta get out of here, 'cause New York's not my home.
Been running away from something we both know. We've long run out of things to say, and I think I better go. Don't be getting excited when you hear that slam on the door. There'll be one less set of footsteps on your floor in the morning. And we've been hiding from something that should have never gone this far. But after all, it's what we've done that makes us what we are. And you've been talking in silence, and if it's silence you adore, there'd be one less set of footsteps on your floor in the morning. Well, there'd be one less set of footsteps on your floor. One less man walking, one less pair of jeans upon your door, one less voice talking. No, tomorrow's a dream away, but today has turned to dust. Your silver tongue has turned to clay, and the golden rule to rust. If that's the way that you want it, then that's the way I want it. There'll be one less set of footsteps on your floor in the morning.
dust. Your silver tongue has turned to clay, and your golden rule to rust. If that's the way that you want it, well, that's the way I want it more. There's every one less set of footsteps on your floor in the morning. Oh, there'll be one less set of footsteps on your floor in the morning. Thank you. So now Jay is going to sing the big breakout number. This is the one that hit in 1972 that got the album Don't Mess Around with Jim going. This is the title song. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Uptown got its hustlers, the Bowery's got its bums. 42nd Street got Big Jim Walker, he's a fool shooting son of a gun. Yeah, he big and dumb as a man can come, but he's stronger than a country horse. When the bad folks all get together at night, you know they all call Big Jim boss, just because. And they say, tug a Superman's cape. You don't speak to the wind. You don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim. Ah-da-da-da-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Well, South Alabama, I'm a country boy. He said, I'm looking for a man named Jim. I'm a school shooting boy, the name is Willie McCoy. Down home they call me Slim. Yeah, I'm looking for the king of 42nd Street. He's driving a drop-top Cadillac. Last week took all my money and made some funny, but I come to get my money back. Everybody say, Jack, don't you know? You don't know the Superman's cape. You don't speed into the wind. You don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim. Da-da-da-da-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Well, a hunt fell over the full moon, then they come bouncing it up the street. When the cutting was unknown, the part that wasn't bloody was the soul of a big man's feet. Yeah, he was cut about 100 places, and he was shot in a couple more. Yeah, you better believe the song a different kind of story when the big tip hit the floor. Oh, ha ha! Now they don't tug a Superman's cape. You don't speed to the wind. You don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Slim. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, Big Jim got his ass. Gonna find out where he's at. And he's not hustling people strangers to you. Even if you do got a 2 pieces custom-made pool cue. Yeah, you don't tug a Superman's cape. You don't speed to the wind. You don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Slim. Da 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 da. Ha 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 ha. Ba ba da da.
So something I learned doing all this research was that Jim Croce didn't write "I Got a Name," and I'd never do that, and it just seems like such a Jim Croce song. But I guess he did feel like he owned it because the way he recorded it was just fantastic. So when he played at Harper College, "You Don't Mess Around with Jim" was the last song that he played here. We're going to do two more for you, and they both come from, well, I sort of picked them because he played them. They're two of the last three songs that he played at that concert in Nacogdoches, Louisiana, which just a few minutes after it ended, they got on a plane and crashed. So these last two songs are pretty much how they wrapped up that concert. This one was written by Norman Gimbel and Charles Fox. The single was scheduled to come out the day after the concert, and it did. And then the album came out on December 1st. So anyway, this one's called I Got a Name. One, two, three, four.
Like the pine trees lining the winding road, I've got a name, I've got a name. Like the singing bird and the croaking toad, I've got a name, I've got a name. And I carry it with me like my daddy did. But I'm living the dream that he kept hid. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway, moving ahead so life won't pass me by. Like the north wind whistling down the sky, I've got a song, I've got a song. Like the whippoorwill and the baby's cry, I've got a song, I've got a song. And I carry it with me and I sing it loud. If it gets me nowhere, I'll go there proud. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway, moving ahead so life won't pass me by. And I'm gonna go there free. Like the fool I am and I'll always be. I've got a dream, I've got a dream. They can change their minds but they can't change me. I've got a dream, I've got a dream. And I know I could share it if you want me to. If you're going my way, I'll go with you. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway, moving ahead so life won't pass me by. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway, moving ahead so life won't pass me by.
Thanks, folks. Good job. All right, Jim's
Everybody's singing.
huh?
No, it's everybody's turn to
Yeah,
sing.
Jim's going to lead us through this one, but you know, this is Bad Leroy Brown, which probably is his biggest hit. Yeah. and I think I looked it up, and Jim Croce sold like 10 million records through today, which is huge, right? Leroy Brown, believe it or not, is a real person that he met in the Army, and I love this story because when they were in the Army together, and Mr. Brown got sick of being in the Army, so he left. They call that AWOL. But then he was broke, so he decided he should go back for payday, so he did. And they arrested him. Now, I don't know how much of the song lyrics apply to that, but that's sort of the story about who he was. And anyway, Jim's going to lead us through this, and we would, you probably know the words, so if you want to sing along, right? Okay, Stan's gonna, so you should join him. All right, here we go. Bad Leroy Brown. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, the south side of Chicago is the baddest part of town. And if you go down there, you better just beware of a man named Leroy Brown. Leroy, for the trouble, you see the stand about 6 foot tall. All the downtown ladies call him treetop lover. All the men just call him sir. And he's bad Leroy Brown, baddest man in the whole damn town. Badder than old King Kong, yeah, meaner than a junkyard dog. Now Leroy, he a gambler, and he likes his fancy clothes, and he likes to wave those diamond rings in front of everybody he knows. Continental, he got an Eldorado, he got a 32 gun in his pocketbook on, he got a razor in his shoe, and he's bad Leroy Brown, the baddest man in the whole damn town. Badder than old King Kong, and meaner than a junkyard dog. Well, Friday, about a week ago, Leroy shooting died, and at the edge of the barn said a girl named Stoller said, "Ooh, that girl was nice." Well, he cast his eyes upon her, and the trouble soon began. And Leroy Brown, he learned a lesson from messing with the wife of a jealous man. And he's bad Leroy Brown, baddest man in the whole damn town. Badder than old King Kong, and meaner than a junkyard dog. Well, the two men took to fighting, and when they pulled them from the floor, Leroy looked like a jigsaw puzzle with a couple of pieces gone. And he's bad Leroy Brown, baddest man in the whole damn town. Badder than old King Kong, and meaner than a junkyard dog. And he's bad Leroy Brown, baddest man in the whole damn town. Badder than old King Kong, and meaner than a junkyard dog. Yeah, we're badder than old King Kong, meaner than a junkyard dog.
All right, well, thank you for coming. That's our winter concert. We'll be back in the spring. We will be at the, sometime in the spring, we'll be at the Indian Trails Library again. And we will be at the Spring Valley Nature Center, I think, again in June. So we're trying to get out. Anyway, come back to our concert in May. Thanks.